Welcome back to Dodge Knife and Tool. Okay, today we're going to talk about culinary knives, chef's knives. For literally the past 2 weekends, talking with two different groups of friends, the same exact questions keep coming up. So let's do just some basics on what do we need in the kitchen, all right? And I'll tell you right now, you need 3 knives. That's it. You don't need the giant full set that sits on your counter. Most of that stuff you're never going to use, depending on what you usually cook and how you cook. All right. I'm not a chef. I've been cooking my whole life. I can smoke. I can barbecue. My son actually at one point was encouraging me to write a cookbook, which I did start, but nowhere near completion. So don't be looking for that anytime soon. It's a future project. All right, so the first one I showed, this is an 8-inch chef's knife. Okay, I find the 10-inch to be a little too big for a small kitchen. All right, this one is a J.H. Henkel's, made in Spain, and it doesn't say the steel. It's got a really long number on there, so we don't care about that. A lot of these chef knives come in the same steel that all us EDC gear geeks know of, VG10, Boss 10, stuff like that. The only one thing I'm going to say about the chef's knife is I like the Rockwell hardness, or the HRC hardness scale, to be around 58. All right, so look at the specs of the knives before you buy them, and you're probably, like something like this, you're probably around $100. All right, this is what every chef has on the planet. I don't care what country you're in. All right, so this is what you want to look for, and you want to look around right about here, okay, because the grip that all chefs are going to be using is called the pinch grip. All right, so they're going to be holding it like this, so you can rock it back and forth, and that's how you get the fingers going like that on your cutting board. All right, this is a really weird angle to show you this. I should have done an overhead on a cutting board for this video, but this is what we have. Take it as a comic relief. So this one's pretty good. I kind of like it when they don't have this extra bolster here. That's there for weight and balance. Okay, but then you can't sharpen your edge all the way to the end. All right, I'm looking to upgrade all my kitchen knives pretty soon too. So, now's a good time to be thinking about all these little things. This is another 8-inch chef's knife. This is vintage. I don't know if we can see the logo. It's kind of warm. Mac. Okay, this is very, very old. All right, it's also very thin and flexible, but this is a chef's knife. These are a company called Mac, made in Japan. Okay, this is usually on that knife tree back there, that missing slot. That's where this thing usually lives. It's just a display piece. I don't use it in the kitchen, but it's a really cool chef's knife. As you see, the edge goes all the way to the end, just like I was just talking about, no bolster. Funny enough, the same town in Japan, Seki, that I said another video where I was showing, from the Vault shorts, I showed a SOG knife. Those are also made in, I said all the good SOGs were made in Japan, same town, Seki City, Japan. They currently make this model. It's between $100 and $200. So there's an updated version. This is a vintage knife. I don't use this one. But that's it. That's your first knife that you need, a chef's knife. Okay? The second one, and some would say, some chefs or some culinary experts would say, you only need 2. So this is number 2. Okay? You need a nice serrated, this is a bread knife. Okay? Mostly used for loaves of bread and tomato, soft foods. So it doesn't crush it, it saws through nicely. All right? I've seen a lot of other guys' lists stop right there at 2. All right? Most would agree with me. Here's your third knife. You need a small 2 to 4 inch paring knife. All right, I have another example here as well. This one, and they don't have to be expensive. This is a Pampered Chef knife I bought years ago. As a friend selling them, and I said, yeah, let me get one of those. All right, so something like this, small paring knife. They're good for just cutting up small fruits, vegetables. Paring is literally what they're for. So I would stop it right there. You get your chef's knife, okay? You get your serrated, okay? And lately I'm not even eating bread, and I rarely cut up tomatoes, so this has just been sitting in my drawer, weirdly enough. And I've been using small paring knives probably more for fruits and vegetables, all right? Which the chef's knife can do all that anyway, all right? Just a thick blade on this thing. This is very similar to the Swegler. A lot of brands. This is probably the most popular style you're going to see between and again, these range anywhere between $20 and the sky's the limit. But most of the decent ones you're going to see from Germany, from Spain, from Japan, from New York, from USA, are going to be $129 to $200. All right, give or take, depending on, I guess, what sales are going on and everything else. Now, beyond that, there's other stuff I use in the kitchen, probably even more so. All right, wouldn't hurt to have kitchen shears. Okay, these are, it says titanium, and it just says Klaus. Okay, doesn't say me in German, and there's a model number on there. It's 810-117. I have no idea anything about this brand, except I've been using these for over a decade, and you can even hear it. These things are sharp. I've cut through a lot of bones with this as well. Chicken bones, not, cow's leg or anything. I got these at a fishing show like 10 years ago, and they have not failed me yet. You got this little center thing, you can crack stuff open, and which I've never used yet, but Petrified Fish, for all you EDC gearheads, sent me these. Those are always in my drawer though, so I've never had a chance to use these yet. There was no need for that. So again, we're going to go back to, you just need the three basic knives: the chef's knife, the serrated knife, and a paring knife, and you're probably good to go. All this other stuff, depending on what you cook and your style, you may need or not. That's why I don't like buying those big sets. Buy it piece by piece. You can match them, you can mismatch them, you can do whatever you want. Here's another thing that I've noticed, and this has been a question, a honing rod. Okay? I saw a guy at a flea market selling these used, telling people they're sharpeners. This is not a sharpener. This is a honing rod. Okay? This is to prolong your knife's time between sharpening. Okay? All you do with the honing rod, and you see chefs do this really fast, you got to get your angle good. All right? All you're doing, it's not sharpening. Okay? You're making sure your tip is straight up and down. Okay? I know it's hard to see from this angle. So it's just making it straight again. So it's not bent one way or the other. So it has a straight line all the way down. And that's to keep it, in a straight line so it cuts better, because they're so thin, they bend over very easily if you slam it down on a cutting board. Okay? So you never scrape your knife this way. Use the back to scrape off the cutting board. Okay? You see people do that, they're folding the edge over, and then you need to hone it again. Okay? This does not take the place of sharpening. You need a sharp knife. Send it out, have it professionally sharpened if you're not good with a stone. All right? Speaking of that, that's the other reason I like the 58 hardness of the steels, all right, is because, number one, it's not hard enough where it's going to start getting brittle and chip out, all right, which is over 61, I believe, does that. But also, once you get hardened over 58, 59, it's real hard to sharpen because the steel is so tough. Then you're using diamond grit pads and everything else. It's a whole new animal, a whole new way to do it. So, keep that in mind, and that's why I always recommend HRC of 58, in that range around there. So, all right, again, the three main knives is all you need, but you might need a honing rod, all right? You might need, if you're doing a lot of carving, a lot of slicing up a turkey, slicing up a London broil. All right, this is very flexible. All right, so this is for slicing, but then you're also going to need one of these probably. All right, so again, if you don't cook a giant turkey, you probably don't need either one of these. If you're not trying to slice up a giant London broil or a giant brisket or something, you probably don't need one of these. And guess what? Your chef's knife's going to do that anyway. All right, so again, everything past the 3, anything past these 3 are specialty tools that you really don't need. Like, for instance, a giant meat cleaver. Okay, I got this probably on Amazon, Megalomart or something like that. Yeah, it's probably an Amazon buy. And only number 1, because it matches all my other stainless handles. And number 2, I only use this for one thing, and that's splitting lobster tails down the middle. So you can throw them on a barbecue or grill them or something like that. So, and guess what? I can probably do the same thing with my chef's knife. So it's just an extra gadget. It's unnecessary. I'm not butchering giant legs of lamb or cows or anything like that in my house. All right, I've only got this for one reason: splitting open lobster tails right down the center so you can half them. This just kind of goes clunk and goes right through them. It's a specialty tool. I only use it for that one reason. I haven't used it for anything else. You might want to, some of these sets, look at them. You might need a really cool cheese knife. Okay? I mean, they come in all shapes and sizes, Do you cut cheese in your house? Maybe you're lactose intolerant. Maybe these are unnecessary. You don't need these in your set. So you see what I'm saying? This is why buy your set individually. You buy the same brand, but buy them as you need them and build this set that conforms to your lifestyle and what and how you cook. All right? And most importantly, I didn't realize we're going to be the most important thing in this video. This is not a sharpening tool. This is to hone your edge back squared and straight again. All right? I think we covered everything for basics. All right? There's a couple of great videos on YouTube. The Prudent Reviewer has several videos out on kitchen knives where he shows the steel hardness and the price. And he's got one from last year and one from this year. Those are very informative, and it shows a lot of the nicer brands around the $100, $200 mark. That's probably where you want to be to get the good knives in your kitchen. And remember, never put these in the dishwasher. Do not leave them in the sink. All right? As soon as you're done, respect your tools, soap and water, and dry them immediately and put them back in their housing, whether it's your roll or if you've got the containers in your drawers like I do. All right? I think that covers everything for now. Any other questions, hit me in the comments, and we'll go through those. If you like what I'm doing here, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one.